Welcome to another edition of the Masterclass series. We have a recurring guest. Barry Habib is here today. Barry, thanks so much, bud, for joining us.
I'm so happy to be here with you.
I want to get right into it because I know attention spans are short on Facebook. But I got 4 awesome questions, and Barry's such a pro. He's going to let me throw all 4 of them out there, and then he's going to tackle all 4 at once. I don't know how he's going to do it, but I'm pretty sure he can. So here we go. And the first one is a bold statement that I've heard recently. Now, please know this is not my statement. It's not even Barry's statement, but I think it's coming from some of the tech giants. So bear with me. I'm going to go through all 4 questions, and then we're going to throw to Barry. So the first one and the first statement that I want his comments on is a statement that's gaining steam, and it's really because Zillow came into the space again this week. I don't want to spend any time there because we've predicted that for years. Now they're in lending and in real estate. But in a discussion about traditional realtors and lenders being replaced by an app, the statement that is gaining steam that I hate, and you guys should hate as well, is you deserve to be replaced by an app. And that should infuriate you. It does me. And I want to get Barry's thoughts on that. I have a takeaway myself that I'll share. So we'll get into that, and that should fire you up. Second one, the unemployment rate is down. I think it's about 3.8%. I'm sure Barry will correct me if I'm wrong. But that is really good news. But I also know, just in talking with you, over previous conversations, that may be an interesting signal for things to come. I want you to talk about that. I watched our last interview this morning. It was interesting. You were on back in November 2018, and at the 8-minute mark of that show, you predicted the market that we are in here in April, the refi market, which is really interesting because most economists and even the NBA projected rates to be in the high 5s. You didn't. You said we would be in this market, and here we are. I want you to talk about that and how originators can capitalize, and that's a pretty obvious one, but how can realtors capitalize on that? And then the last one, man, this is a lot. I hope you can do that. The last one, Wall Street Journal has recently released a really good blog that's talking about how they have pulled many professional forecasters. I put them in quotes because you never know if they're really professional. But anyways, 60% are now saying what you've said originally, which is recession 2020. We've talked about it. I want to throw to you one of the questions that's really from me. I've had a lot of questions from the audience, but in a recession, normally one of our magic bullets to pull us out of a recession is lowering the cost of money. Now, interest rates, short-term rates, but here we are in April, and we already have really good rates. Rates are already low. Cost of money is already low. So what is going to pull us out of this possible recession in 2020? I feel like the ace up our sleeve has already been pulled away. So hopefully you can remember all 4 questions, Barry. There you go.
All great stuff. I'm really, really happy to be on the show. And as usual, you really have done such a great job in trying to frame what's really relevant, what's really important, and what's also going to help real estate agents, help mortgage professionals serve our customers better, and do the exact opposite of what technology is trying to do, and that's replace us. And technology really is trying to replace us. So I'm going to just pull up my screen here and share it with you guys, because that's the question, is are you a salesperson or advisor? And that's the critical thing that people need to discover. Now, people are going to say, hey, look, you know what? I'm an advisor. Well, come on, really? Why? Because you put it on your name tag? I mean, I can walk around a hospital and put surgeon on my name tag. Doesn't mean I'm ready to cut somebody open. Okay?
Right.
So this is really critical here, because take a lesson from what has happened. Travel agents used to be on every corner, and they have been eliminated. Why? Because they thought they were advisors. They weren't. They didn't put the time in. They didn't put the work in. If you're a mortgage professional, why are you an advisor? Because you know how to qualify somebody. If you're a real estate agent, why are you an advisor? Because you know how to write up a contract, or because you know where the local school system is? You need to really understand the financial aspects of the particular market that you're in, because people buy based on financial decisions.
Yep.
You mentioned Rich Barton, the new CEO of Zillow. They're getting into the space. You know what Richard Barton's position was before? Yes, Expedia. Expedia put the travel agent out of business. What do you think he's going to try and do now? He's openly said this is his plan. He wants to replace you as a realtor. You've got a big target on your back.
Yep.
The good news is you can protect yourself. You can take a lesson from people like stockbrokers. You have boiler room stockbrokers. What do those boiler room stockbrokers do? They were salespeople. They got eliminated. However, debt managers, see, they don't have to compete with $5 from Charles Schwab for a trade, $7 from E-Trade or Fidelity or whatever it is. They are able to command much stronger levels of compensation because they're offering advice. The thing of it is you can't give what you don't have.
That was the gold. Say that again. Sorry, I have to stop you. That was the gold right there. About they don't have to compete with price because of the value.
They don't have to compete with price because they have tremendous amount of value that they can bring to the table. And that's it. And a lot of people want to do that, but they don't want to put the time in to get that. You cannot give what you don't have. You may want to give the advice, but you have to be able to learn.
Yeah.
How much training are you putting in before you get on the phone or meet with a customer? For most people, it's zero. A professional boxer trains 1,000 minutes before they get into the ring. How many minutes are you training before you pick up the phone? Just think about that, because now is the time you have to really take it seriously, because they're coming after you.
Yeah.
I'm not saying this to give you a hard time. I'm telling you this because I care. Been around long enough to know.
Right.
So here's the deal. Ask questions about recession and why did we think there's going to be a recession? When is it going to happen? What does it mean to you? So we're going to talk a little bit about this, and I want you to stay with me here because it's very important. You need to focus right now on this, because I'm going to give you a very big payoff. That's funny, Ryan, you and I had a conversation about this. I think it took us about 7 or 8 minutes.
Yeah.
I was multitasking. I think I was trying to have lunch, some dry chicken. Right. And I said, Ryan, I love you. We're friends, so I'm going to eat while I'm talking to you. But we went through this, and it's something that if you have this type of conversation, this is the value proposition. So here it is. So first of all, the yield inversion. What does this mean? It's very important because it's been a reliable indicator of recessions. Take a look at this. When the 10-year yield is below the 2-year yield, every time it happens, recession, inversion, recession, inversion, recession, inversion, recession, inversion, recession.
Yeah, over and over.
We're pretty close to it here. It used to be a 3% spread. That meant the 10-year might have been at 4, the 2-year at 1. Then it went to 2%. Then it went to 1%. Now it's just mere basis points. If it gets inverted and stays there for a while, it's a very reliable indicator of recession. So, but there's other ones, 10-year, 3-month, 10-year, 1 year. When you have a longer term maturity yielding lower than a shorter term maturity, why does that happen? Shorter term maturity is going to ride above the Fed funds rate or near the Fed funds rate. And the Fed has been hiking rates. Now they calmed down, they stopped, but they were hiking rates. The 10-year Treasury cares about inflation because inflation is what will erode the return you get. See, if you are the recipient of the payment of a bond, let's just say you gave money out and you're going to receive interest for 10 years. You could take that interest and you could buy stuff with it. But if stuff starts to get more expensive because of inflation, your buying power erodes. So the only way you protect yourself is by starting at a higher perch. So more inflation, interest rates go up. Less inflation, interest rates go down. Why would inflation go up? Because too many people are trying to buy stuff and that makes prices go up. A strong economy. Why would inflation go down? Because people aren't buying as much, stuff's going on sale, lower inflation, lower interest rates, but it also shows signs of an economy that is weaker. So when you see an inversion of the yield curve, this is not what causes the recession. This is like somebody who walks in at work and they've got sniffles and a runny nose. That's not the problem. The underlying problem is they've got a cold or they're sick. Okay, so this tells you the economy is sick. When we see something like this, Ryan, you know recession's coming, but a better indicator is the unemployment rate. And unemployment, and I'm going to give you the big payoff on why it's so important to understand when a recession's coming. Take a look at this chart, all the recessions for 100 years. Every single time, it's not when the unemployment rate is high. It's when the unemployment rate's at its lowest level and turns up. See, bottom turns up, recession. Bottom turns up, recession. Again. Now, where do you think we are here? We're near the lowest level. I'm not saying it happens immediately, but at 3.8%, this is the lowest unemployment rate we've had and not been at war. Okay, so what we do is we see that recessions will occur shortly after a turn up in the unemployment rate. Why? Why is that? Because think about this. Things are great. You're hiring people. Business is wonderful. But now things slow down. So the economy gets a little weaker. What do you naturally do? My biggest expense is payroll. I lighten that load. Unfortunately, I have the unpleasant task. I have to let people go. They head to the unemployment line. That ticks employment rate higher. But then what do those people's mentalities change to? They're not out there going out as much dinners. They're not buying as much clothes. They're not going on vacation. And the businesses that used to be supported by that slow down. What's their option? They have to let people go. And then the cycle perpetuates. And you see this happen. Recession, look at the unemployment rate. Shoots up, up, up. Comes down slow, shoots up fast. Comes down slow, shoots up. Look at how fast this comes up. So, okay, so we know there's probably a recession coming in 2020 or 2021. We forecasted this since 2017, I said this. So that it was coming in 2020, 2021. Why? Because of these indicators that we see here. What if it does occur then? And I think it will. what happens during recessions is what's important for you to know.
Yep.
So here you go.
Big payoff here.
The payoff is this. Look at what's happened to interest rates. Here's mortgage rates for the past 50 years during these previous recessions. The last recession, mortgage rates went from 6 to 4.875. It's a pretty big drop in 1 year. Big refi opportunity, you know? Here in a 7-month recession, rates went from 7 3/8 to 6 3/4. Look at this one. 11 to 8 3/4. How about this one? 18 to 13. Now I know 18's high, but if a year, I'm sorry, 13's high, but if a year ago you had 18,
yeah.
13's looking pretty damn
pretty
good.
good.
A year ago, right?
Yeah.
So how about this one? 16 to 11 3/4. So you could see what happens. So now knowing what you know two things. A recession probably going to come in the next 2 years. And if it does come, interest rates go way down. Now, to answer your other question, has the Fed used up all their bullets? No. They still can drop the Fed funds rate. They can do quantitative easing. There are so many tools that the Fed can have to cause rates to drop. Look at rates in Germany. They're negative. I'm not saying we go negative, but we could certainly see rates drop 0.5%, 0.75%, 1% from where they are now if we hit a recession. What would that mean? Big refinance opportunity.
Even
so here's
bigger
the
than
payoff.
now, yeah.
What's the strategy? Think about this. Does that mean you're going to put somebody in a loan where you have paying points? No, that would be stupid because they're going to refinance this thing in the next couple of years. Would you put somebody in a loan where they're going to be paying single premium up for an MI? No, because it takes 6 years to break even. You will have either moved or refinanced. Let your competition make this mistake. Let them say, oh, I'll save you $120 a month, but you're going to cost them $4,000. It's a bad decision. You see, if you were to look at somebody and say, it's not about getting the lowest rate, it's about the lowest cost, which means, let me give you a higher rate, absorb some of your costs because chances are you're going to refinance this loan in 2 years anyway, or 1 year. See, that's what an advisor does.
Yeah.
That's the difference. The salesperson is all about fighting for lower rate. The advisor is the best advice. Now, one last thing right here is to take a look at this chart because it's going to come out. As soon as we talk about recession, everybody's going to come out in the media. Oh, housing is going to go. Housing is held up really well in recession.
Yep.
Take a look.
I was hoping you'd touch on this for the realtors and everybody that thinks that housing's going to crash during that recession.
So people get it confused. They think the recession led to the housing bubble. No, it was the housing bubble that led us into recession. During the recession, we entered and exited with a flat housing market. There was a period of time where home prices actually went up during the recession. They went up during the recession, up during the recession, up during the recession, up. Why is this? Why do home prices go up? You already know the answer. Why? Because interest rates go down dramatically, and it makes homes much more affordable. That's why. Now, during recessions, it gives you opportunity. It gives you an opportunity to purchase with a lower interest rate with sellers that are much more amenable to terms. So this is not a bad thing. This is a great opportunity because you're not going to flip that house in 6 months. If you're in that house like most people for 9 years, think about what you're going to gain. Very
contrarian. I love it, man. Good stuff. You take a breath yet?
Yeah, we have to get in quickly.
Did we miss anything? I feel like, you went so fast. I think if you're watching, you're going to have to slow this down because there's so much knowledge just dropped. And he answered the very first question, which is really what I want to continue to throw out there, that you deserve to be replaced by an app. And he threw out a bunch of knowledge. Like, you can't even start to answer that question or fight back against that if you don't have the knowledge. And that's what Barry's saying. Like, most professionals put zero time of preparation time into having that conversation. That's on the real estate and lending side. Guys, not trying to offend you, but that's just true. We've got to be better. We've got to do more homework. We've got to, everything that Barry just said is probably going to be relevant for the next 2 years. And I don't think there's a lot of people talking like Barry is talking or bringing the knowledge. So he just gave you that gift. You can now regurgitate that and make it your own. And my takeaway is always this: when there's something that, if I need to lose weight or if I have to get better in a certain area of my life, I make sure I see it every day. It's top of mind. So if you hate that statement, which I do, which is you deserve to be replaced by an app, you know what? Type that up. Make that your screensaver. RC, I'll have them actually make a cool graphic in the comment section below. All you have to do is copy and paste that. So every time you sit down at your desk, you see that phrase and you do something about it every single day to combat that you deserve to be replaced by an app, because I don't believe that, and I don't think Barry does either.
Correct. And we certainly don't deserve to. We certainly don't want to. And Ryan, you consistently put out great information to help people be that advisor and have more knowledge. And really that's what this is about, because look, what if somebody were cheaper in rate by 1/8, by 1/4, by 3/8? The advice you just gave them here is much more valuable than that. So this is really what we have to do. And by the way, an app can't do what we just did. And this took us less than 10 minutes to do.
Right.
If you have the knowledge, it's like having a key that it doesn't take that much. You know, it's kind of like if a magician does a trick, you're like, oh, wow. But if you understand how they did it, it's like, oh, that's not so tough.
Exactly.
Right? So this is the type of thing that just a little bit of practice and a little bit of understanding will give you the ability to really help your customer do good by them, beat your competition, and not be replaced. Protect your family, please. Protect yourself. Don't do what the travel agents did, which was deny it, be pompous, be lazy.
Yeah.
And they got the unfortunate result of being replaced. Please don't let it happen to you.
Thanks for sharing, buddy. If anybody wants to subscribe, if you haven't, Originators 100%, mbshighway.com. You should be following Barry every day. Tons of knowledge similar to this. Realtors, I think it's very valuable for yourself, even if you're a consumer watching. mbshighway.com. Also, I'm sure Barry's nice enough. If you have questions, throw them in the comment section below. I'm sure he'll answer them. Tag someone that needs to hear this today. A lot of people do. Tag them in the comment section, or 10 of them, okay? Like, subscribe, and in the comment section below, there's going to be a graphic, and I want it to bother you, and I want you to see it every day. You deserve to be replaced by an app. Now, remember, Barry and I didn't say that, but somebody else is saying that, and I want you guys to remember that every day and fight back every day. Thank you so much. Another badass interview by Barry Habib. I hope you enjoyed the Masterclass series. We'll see you guys next week.
You serve a lot, but I got more now. Made another hit, cause I got bored now. Always going for it, never pump fourth down.